mind you can't control. Running wild, can't come down. My head is in the clouds. Gotta keep this feeling, keep on breathing, even if we're slipping away. So I close my eyes and lose myself now. Do it like it's only today. We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. And for a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this. We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. And we don't care about the bad nights. And for a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this. I'm on my last straw. I'm broken and I'm woken up. I'm done feeding your lies. I've had enough. I can't run your place in this faulty game. And all the words you speak mean nothing more to me. 'Cause let's start over now. Rewind. And I won't let you go. I need you by my side.
I know where we can go. I know where we can go. And it's all you and me. We'll kiss the sky goodnight. Just run away with me, darling. We'll get real lost. We'll get real lost again. Just run away with me, darling. We'll get real lost. We'll get real lost again. Just run away with me, darling. We'll get real lost. We'll get real lost again. Just run away with me, darling. We'll get real lost. We'll get real lost again. I know where we can go, where the sunrise lasts forever. And it's all you and me. We'll kiss the sky goodnight. Come get lost with me. 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 Just run away with me, darling. We'll get real lost. lost, we'll get real lost again. Just run away with me, darling. We'll get real lost, we'll get real lost again.
Well, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I apologize for being late. Usually never late. I'm usually very much on time. However, thank you. Show us your late slips. Pink slip. Pink slip. However, it has been a very long week for me. It's been a very long and honestly tough week for me. And I appreciate you all waiting around. I really do. Thank you. Um, KD, you're gonna make me cry with that comment. Let me find it. I should have started. Where was it? I played this intro because I'm having trouble right now with something. And Katie said, Justin watched your intro for Hey Sweet Tea today and really loved, made me feel better, and did a few things I was putting off. Let's give KD a round of applause for that. Let's give KD a round of applause for that. Yep, for sure. We all do that, KD. We all do that. We've all put things off, procrastinated, or whatever. But time still goes by when we are doing that, procrastinating or just not wanting to do something, right? And we've all been there. There's different seasons in our life, and some seasons are better than other seasons, and there's some days better than other days, but we still got to do it, right? We still have to get up, do it, and push through it. So I am extremely proud of you, KD. That is awesome. That is one of the best comments I think I've ever gotten, actually. Just knowing that um, that little intro made you get up and do it. So thank you. Okay. Sorry, y'all. It's been a week, and that really touched me. So, yeah. All right, let me get it together 1 second, and we'll talk about uh some stuff. Nice. He says, "I send the smoke. I send the smoke alarm off." Oh God, I thought it was the microwave or something to 1 minute. Oh, I thought the microwave was on 1 minute and it was set to 7 minutes. Shoo, burnt the castle. The White Castle stinks burnt, waiting for Justin. Thank you, Nice Marie. Thank you so much. That's that is beautiful. So thank you so much. Um, uh, thank you. That kind of takes me out of it. My sister thought a cup of noodles on fire that way. Yeah. You know what I did years ago when I first started, when I was first out on my own, I uh, put eggs in water and tried to boil eggs that way in the microwave. So I think I put like, I don't know. It was a big microwave, and I put a big bowl in there, and I think I put like 6 or 8 eggs in the microwave with water. And I put them in there for a long time because you have to let them boil, and everything like that. And so I go in the living room. I'm just a little thing at this time, real young, dumb, or than a box of rocks. Still am, but dumber than a box of rocks at the time. And I'm just, kind of stretching out on the couch, because I think I was going to make chicken salad or something like that. And, you put eggs in it. And I'm laying on the couch and I hear kaboom. And I was like, what was that sound? Completely forgot about the eggs. Completely forgot about the eggs. And I thought my neighbor was like target practicing or something like that. And I go walk through the house, and the microwave door is like wide open. Like it opened it. It opened the damn door to the microwave, and eggs, water, the bowl, everywhere. Like it is kaboom. Don't ever put eggs in a microwave, people. Don't ever do it. Eggs blew up on my stove. On your stove? Big ol' mess. Big ol' mess. Thank you so much, Holly. That's so sweet of you. Thank you, love. If you received one of those memberships, please thank our sweet Holly. It's very kind of you, Holly. Thank you so much. Um, oh, I forgot to do this. You just gifted 5 memberships. So, uh, you know what that means. We got to do an application process.
This is a Brooklyn-bound 2 express train. The next stop is Fulton Street.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Giving to the lesser fight. My body aches to be satisfied. My weakness comes and goes. My weakness comes and goes.
If you received one of those memberships, you are approved. Let's do a big, big thank you to our sweet Holly. Thank you, Holly. Very sweet of you. Carla, what hit your ceiling? The eggs, because there was eggs everywhere in mine. Yeah. I go get some popcorn. I had a microwave one time where it would not pop popcorn. It would do everything, but it wouldn't pop popcorn. It would just burn it. It was so weird. It was an older one, though. Jessica, thank you so much. I appreciate you, my dear. Thank you. It means so much. Really does mean so much. I know it's almost Friday. It's almost Friday. It's been a week for me, and kids are almost out of school. I've been doing all the things that the events, and we have like several different parties for after school and everything right now, and birthday parties, and that's just that time of year. It's that time of year where but I enjoy every second of it. Summer goes by so quick. Casey, thank you so much for becoming a member. I really appreciate you, my friend. Now, please welcome Casey becoming a member. Sheila, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for your super sticker. Very kind. Justin, I'm going to be losing my husband soon, and I'm glad that you have a heart for people who are struggling. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Autism Grandma. Thank you so much. Um, I haven't lost, I think if you live long enough, we have lost, right? Um, a close loss sooner or later. Some of us have a loss when we're very young, but I am so sorry, Autism Grandma. I wish you and your husband the very best. Enjoy your time together, you know, um, and praying for comfort for him and yourself and your family. So um, it's rough. It is rough for sure. Um, when you have a briefing, you may never know what they're going through. Absolutely, absolutely, you never know what they're going through. Um, for sure, for sure. I have an egg cooker that you can make 12 eggs in 10 minutes. I love it. That's interesting. But yeah, you never know what someone is going through. And I was thinking, because time really, like, if I sit and think about time, how fast it goes, my kids are like, they're growing up so quick, right? They're all taller than me, every one of them. And Sharon, thank you so much for becoming a member, my dear. Y'all please welcome Sharon. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you so much. But, I whenever they were, years ago, whenever they were just little, starting kindergarten, I read this thing, and it's like you only have, what was it, 12. By the time your kids are in kindergarten, you only have 12 summers, about 12 summers left until they are 18, right? And that's nothing, right? And now we're, it's just gone by way too quick. And it makes me want to have an anxiety attack almost, because I just think, you know, the world's crazy. And um, so those 12 summers, they went by really quick, right? They do go by so quick. Um, Justin, they never leave. LOL. Oh my God, I never want mine to leave though. No, I do want them to leave when they're ready, and they need to expand their wings and grow up, right? Yes, promise, I do. Yes, I am lucky to watch my grandchildren grow up, but boy, time goes by so fast. It really does. It so does. I'm almost 50 and still agitated at my mama and daddy. Oh, absolutely. 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 Just because yeah, you really need to prepare them for the world, right? You need to really prepare them for the world. And I believe that's one of the, other than obviously loving your kids unconditionally and taking excellent care of them, I think one of the biggest gifts you can give to your kids is preparing them for the world and how the world is, and protecting them from it, but also letting them know that, just preparing them, right? Preparing them to be ready, for it, you know, have uh, be intelligent, for college, or whatever their craft is going to be, but also have some common sense too, because I think common sense is really out the window nowadays, especially in the younger generation. There's just like no common sense anymore. They don't know how to do anything. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know, it's so weird. It's so weird. um my oldest daughter was the same way, broke my heart. Lip lock, honey, I was late. This is off the rails, so we're just winging it. Parents give them so much. Yeah, I mean, we do give our kids so much, but they need to earn it. I think I really believe in the earning system, right? Believing in the earning system. Um, so everything is, speaking of off the rails. Speaking of off the rails, Tony Baloney and Seth and um, Chris, Katie, it feels like everything went to hell. You know what I mean? It just feels like everything went to hell. I'm here, love to. Thank you, Sabrina. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sharon, did I say thank you? If not, thank you so much for becoming a member. Y'all welcome, Sharon. Thank you, my dear. In a handbasket. And last night, Pascal, he talked about not taking a step back, but I don't. Everyone's heard and seen it, I'm sure. And sometimes I think that's a good thing, but then sometimes I think, oh my God, if we don't put this out here, then it's just going to be, he's going to be forgotten. You know what I mean? TikTok Tony, also known as Tony Baloney, right? So Tony is like info regurgitate it true or false. And that's exactly right. Rach. Press the pause button to reevaluate. Maybe that's a good way to say it. Was there a new one? Sharon, there was one late last night. He went live and he just as long as it was up, like while he was live, he played it, but then as soon as he ended his live, he took it down. So yeah, there's that. I think I've just listened tonight. I've had quite enough to say about Tony. Well, Tony agreed, Justin, if Seth didn't keep blowing up now and again, I think what he said about becoming another cold case is correct. And I pray to God that this does not become a cold case. We're only 90 days in, right? We're only 90 days in. Free to be me. Thank you so much, my honeys, bunnies. That is so generous of you. I really do appreciate you. We're going to have to do an application process for 5 minutes.
This is a Brooklyn-bound 2 express train. The next stop is Fulton Street.
Get your
Stand
clown
clear
horns
of the
ready.
Closing doors, please.
My body aches to be satisfied. My weakness comes and goes. My weakness comes and goes.
So earlier, I was looking at, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it, Free to Be Me. Thank you so much. And if you received a membership from Free to Be Me, please give them a big thank you. It's very generous. Debbie, thank you so much for becoming a new member, dear. Wow, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I was looking at cases, and I'm very torn because I just don't think, let me fix this camera 1 second. I really don't think that Sebastian walked away on his own. I really, don't. That's my opinion. Could have he? Yes, he could have. But I'll be honest with you. If he walked away on his own and Katie is seemingly not giving a rat's patootie on advocating for her missing son, well, then I have concerns there as well. How can you not advocate, scream from the mountaintops, give two fucks what anyone is thinking about you when your son is missing? Sitting in the corner, letting Chris drive the ship. Why? Why? That's something that we've only, that I've only seen in two cases, and both are from Tennessee. Obviously, Sebastian Rogers and Summerwell's case. But you know what? Even Candace did a sit down or a stand up interview with Chris McDonough from the interview room by herself. And I'll be honest with you, I think she is, in my opinion, knows where her daughter is. Candace. But then I think about this case right here. And this was a case, a rugby player, Brian. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I forgot. It's been a while. Hargraves. Yeah, okay. I was making sure. Brian Hargreaves. He was missing for 14 months. 14 months. And this is in my state. This was quite a profile, a higher profile case. Spooky hugs, love, and peace, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Spooky. I really appreciate that. We certainly need it this week. We certainly need it this week. I said Brian. Bryn, I apologize. I should know this because this was in my state. Bryn, he who was 36 at the time, was reported missing in January of last year. He was missing 14 months. He was 36 at the time, who was reported missing on the 16th day of January 2022, having failed to arrive for work in West Virginia in the United States. Mongolia County Sheriff's Office said that his disappearance sparked a, quote, large-scale search of the Cheat Lake area, led by police and tracking dogs over a several-month period, quote, end quote, with no success. Here's Brian. I believe he was from the UK, but lived here in the States, here in West Virginia. Yet on the 26th of February, Bryn remains were found in a wooded area between South Pierpont Road and the Hanalei development in the Cheat Lake area of the Monongalia County, West Virginia. This is mere yards away from his home and his last known location, the Whisper Creek apartment complex, which is off the South Pierpont Road in Monongalia County. The player's mother, Maria Andrews, posted on Facebook on Tuesday alongside the caption, "Heartbroken hugs, my son. I closed my eyes for a moment and suddenly a man stood where my boy used to be." Okay. The sheriff's office said on Friday, on the Facebook page, Friday, it was waiting for a completed autopsy report before a cause and manner of death is determined. Bryn's older brother, Gareth, announced the former player's death on Facebook 14 months after he was last seen. Let me see here. It just repeats itself here. But there was repeated attempts to track Bryn down over the past year, but they were unsuccessful. His family set up a GoFundMe page in the bid to raise funds for a private detective to take on the role of finding him. Mr. Bryn was born in Wigan. Anyone in the UK know where that is? I guess it's in the UK. And achieved his boyhood dream of playing Super League for the Warriors. He also played at St. Helens. Anyway, here he is, little boy. Such a cute little boy whenever he was little. He was found they thought that he might have been abducted. Obviously he was a man. Bryn had mental health issues and was in severe pain from his back in a car accident in December 2021. He had been away from his family at Christmas, the most likely scenario where he decided to harm himself and had decided to disappear for a bit and come back. But 5 months on, those two possibilities look less likely, and they thought he would wind back up. We had his bank accounts investigated by police, which showed us there was no withdrawals, and his wallet and his ID and passport were all still in his apartment. Well, anyway, they looked for this man for months, 14 months. Wide scale search. Now, this is in an extraordinarily dense rural area in West Virginia in the Appalachian Mountains. Huge mountains. But he was yards away from his apartment. How did they miss him? How did they miss him? Thanks to YouTube kicking me out. I always have to. Jelly, I'm sorry. I don't know. YouTube's been crazy. Do you know where that is? Always late? Down a ravine. But you would think 14 months they would have found him. It's awful living in pain. I've had 29 back surgeries. My liver should be gone from dialysis. Oh my God, Rottweiler. I'm so sorry. I live in Mount Storms in Grant County, West Virginia. Becca, thank you so much, my dear. Thank you. But even today's technology still remains. They did a case where only digging found the person. Yeah. Now, I will say, in Sebastian's case, that I do believe they would have found him based upon how quick they got the technology, right? He would have still, right, there would have still been heat. Even if they did find him deceased, there would have still be a heat source coming from him, right? um oh, Jen. So, I do think of stories like this, but then I think of just the absolute behavior of, I mean, Chris, we know that he's, in my opinion, pretty much just not a nice person, right? He's just not a nice person. Can he be nice? Of course, anyone can be nice, right? But I don't think relationships mean that much to him. If you've been able to divorce, 5 times, well, I mean, let's be honest. I don't think really you don't have a problem letting go of someone, dropping them like a hot potato, right? So, I try to think, well, would Chris take up for Katie like this if just because he simply loves her? Or is there something that he's hiding too that benefits him as well if they are involved? Guys, do me a favor. Thank you, SL. Please get that thumbs up button. Or does he love her? He can't if he doesn't love her children too. I agree, Pretty Petty. I agree. Absolutely. Yep. You don't love my kids? Well, you don't love me, honey. I'll tell you that on down the road. Right? There's no way in hell he would take the bat for Katie if he wasn't involved, because he ain't going to defend anyone and risk losing faith. His hands are definitely dirty. I agree with that, Priscilla. I agree. I believe he would have to be involved too. I mean, I just believe that. That's okay, Priscilla. I know what you meant. It's okay. It was on an interview that Justin showed on his show that one showed the one that was cut short. The interviewer said, I believe there is CPS records regarding Katie's behavior against Sebastian. Yes. Yes. And I'm not really sure, you know, what's that all about, right? All we know is that Chris, Katie, one of the two or both, Seth knows something that was going on in that house that he said if he had known, he would have taken Sebastian out of that house the week before, you know, whenever he was at his house. He'd have just stayed at his house, right? Not went back. What was it, Thursday? I'll share this. My ex was extremely abusive and he protected me all the time against friends, neighbors, anyone who said something out of my pocket. My shrink said it was his level and needed of control. Yes. Just because someone will protect you doesn't mean they won't also abuse you, right? Right. It's kind of like your siblings, when you're a kid, it's like, I'll fight with you, but nobody else is going to fight with you, right? I'll fight with you, but nobody else better mess with you. You know what I mean? Casey, thank you so much, my love, for gifting 5 memberships. That is amazing. I really do appreciate that. We are going to have to do an application process.
This is a Brooklyn-bound 2 express train. The
Here we
next
go.
stop is Fulton Street.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
To the lesser fight, my body aches to be satisfied. My weakness comes and goes. My weakness comes and goes.
If you received one of those memberships, please thank our sweet, sweet KC. Very generous of you, KC. Welcome to the new members. Pearls look amazing on each of you. It's parents who hit their children because the child hit someone else. Yeah, we were talking about that the other day, Dorsey. It's like whenever things were different when I was being raised, and more people, I think, spanked then or whatever. And you would go to school or something, the kid would hit somebody at school, and you come home and the parent would spank you, and it's like, you're spanking me for you're hitting me for hitting someone at school. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. I think that particularly hitting, spanking. Now, this is the thing. Chris said that he spanked Sebastian. You don't spank someone who doesn't particularly understand. Someone with a mental disorder, physical, right? Emotional, right? And you got to remember what Chris said. Remember that? He made that sound, reliving it. And the deception detective, you don't spank 15-year-olds. God, no. God, no. Not at all. He says it was years ago. I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe it for a second. I don't believe it for a second. It is. It really is. It makes her bad parents to let Chris abuse Sebastian and put a power washer to him. If that power washer thing is true, it's horrible. But the thing is, Sebastian was reaching out, telling people how bad it was. And the thing that bothers me, one of the things that bothers me, and Chris slipped up and said it, is that he said, Sebastian thought he was going to get me kicked out of my house. That's very interesting. Very interesting. And I really wonder, guys, if Chris wasn't supposed to be there. Absolutely. Verbal abuse as well. Absolutely. I don't think that gets talked about enough by creators. I just don't think that little piece gets talked about enough. Because obviously CPS will remove, while they are doing their investigative, they'll remove a parent, a step parent, an adult that's being, the accusations are against, in the discovery process. And there was obviously some headbutting, in my opinion, between Chris and Sebastian. Well, Sebastian, he thought he was going to get me kicked out of my house. Chris says he wasn't even there for the past month. Wasn't even there for the past month. Now, Katie could have had some resentment to Sebastian because her man couldn't come home or whatever. And she could have got mad at Sebastian when he was, he could have been overstimulated that weekend or whatever. Came home and she could have done something. Kind of resentment toward Sebastian. I think about that as well. CPS was there. It was like I don't know the exact date. I want to say it was like the 25th, 26th, 28th, something of January. Now, Chris says he wasn't home since like the 4th of February. Always Lead says, I don't believe that for a second. I honestly think he was there that night Sebastian went missing, in my opinion. I agree. I agree. And let me tell you something. There is no one that I have actually seen, heard, an employee stated that Seth was there in Memphis on Sunday during the day. He might have been there at 5 o'clock in the morning, Monday morning, 5:15 in the morning. But where was he Sunday? Why doesn't his coworkers get questioned? Oh, I'm sure that they will. I'm sure they did. I meant Chris, not Seth. Sorry. I think he could have been sneaking in and out. I apologize. I mix Chris up with Seth and Seth up with Chris. Not intentionally. Had time to come home and go back. Yeah. Well, we just got to remember, you know, I'll just say this. If this was a Tuesday that Sebastian went missing, a Wednesday that Sebastian went missing, a Thursday, or even a Friday that Sebastian went missing. But because it happened in the wee hours, allegedly, of Monday morning, I think it happened Sunday night, actually, in my opinion. I think this happened Sunday night. Not early hours of Monday morning. I really believe this happened Sunday night. 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m. Maybe right before bed. Okay, Dana, thank you so much, my dear, for gifting 5 memberships. That is so sweet. We are going to need an application process.
This is a Brooklyn-bound 2 express train. The next stop is Fulton Street.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
The lesser fight. My body aches to be satisfied. My weakness comes and goes. My weakness comes and goes.
Congratulations to the new members. Thank you so much, Dana, for gifting those 5 memberships. You are approved because of our sweet Dana. Pearls look amazing on you. I really feel it happened Sunday night as well. Yes. Yes. I don't think Katie could have physically, I mean, she may have physically could have done it, but I don't think she could have done this by herself. I really, really don't. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Chris said that the amazing thing is that this boy has managed to have, what did he say? Baffle investigators, and has been able to leave no trace of him behind. Now, Sebastian, a 15-year-old, autistic or not, would not know how leave no evidence. Yes, I think your reality. He would not have known how to do that. And especially if he was barefooted. Let's be real, people. Called him Houdini. Why would she be saying I was so violent in the why would she be saying I was so violent in the CP? I don't know what that means. Oh, in the I don't know what that means, Annie. I'm sorry. I think he could have been. He very well could have been. There is no way. You're exactly right. You're exactly right, Brady. How could have he? How could? I mean, how does he not leave a scent behind? She said I was violated. Hey, Daily, good to see you, darling. Violated, vile, something like that. A lot of time for unnecessarily info give in a story is what gets them caught, makes their story sus. Houdini was, yes, he was a magician and a escape artist. He sure was. There's just no way a 15-year-old could do that. I did hear Jennifer talk on Sebastian's case today. I did. I did. Um, the Mississippi River is not that far. In fact, where Chris and Katie's camper is, it is right there, like literally right there. I think. I don't know. I think Katie was agitated that Chris was gone and out and about, like the Texas Roadhouse, going by Scooby, and she was stuck at home dealing with Sebastian. Um, Perhaps, I just think Katie was, um, I think she was probably lonely to an extent. It is, yes, that is true as well. And I think she didn't see Chris. I think, in my opinion, that she substituted maybe with alcohol, perhaps, and perhaps an affair, allegedly. Well, when I say a scent, I mean a trail, right? So they might have picked up his scent, but they didn't. There's no trail or anything like that. You get what I mean? Muddy Paws, thank you so much, my. Sorry, Justin came in late and just heard your egg story. I think I peed myself. I laughed so hard. Thank you for that. Oh Lord, that was something. Thank you, Muddy Paws. Good to see you, honey. Very sweet of you. I want to know who keeps messing with searchers. I don't know. I know that Terry Lynn, someone hit one of her tires with what, a screwdriver? I do remember in the beginning hearing Katie had alcohol issues. I don't know if that is an ongoing issue. You know, I think Chris probably hits the bottle as well, right? Here, Taylor. A screwdriver. I think he did, Sassy. I really think he did. But the thing about Sebastian is he did have some issues, right? But he was so much more normal than anything else, right? I'll pull up something here. 1 second. I will take phone calls if anybody wants to call in as well. You can call in. Was followed by the Bauer Sox. I don't know. I'll tell you. It's a weird feeling about them. It's a weird feeling because I feel like Chris, Katie, they have a lot of means, right? They have different vehicles, different properties, all of that. Right? Katie's SUV was caught on camera the day it happened, or her in-laws. You know, it's alleged that there was a vehicle like that down at the gas station or the little place down the street. My stepdad, who can rest in hell, waited until I was sent away again and again 17 times to come back. I was sent away because I was the only one who had guts to stand up to him. He was a narcissist. I'm sorry, Wicca. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like there's some shady boots there, right? Some shady boots. Yeah, they both, I don't know. You know, and remember the previous people who had worked for them as well. Oh, thank you, Jules. Thank you. I need to make sure my phone's on. 1 second. Something's wrong with my phone, I think. If anybody wants to call in, you can call in at 307-228-4906. Nick Barris has debunked all of the latest rumors, like the car being on camera. Oh, here. I'll pull that up if you want me to. While I'm pulling that up, here, I'll play this.
Saying anything bad about the Proudfoots. We're not doing any of that. If y'all want to fire away, fire away. We don't give a shit anymore. And said He threatened Seth. He called in and pretended to be some guy, that he wasn't, on a talk show, just cracking jokes and, just acting like a clown. And we've got a laser focused dad that's been looking for his child, and we got a clown over here acting like a clown, being a clown. And we're just not going to partner. We're not going to put up a facade anymore that we're partnering with people.
1 second, my dear. Clutch your pearls. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Justin.
Yes,
if
my
you
dear.
remember, at the beginning of this whole thing, Chris said when he got to the house, not Chris, Seth, got to the house, it was Katie, Chris's mom, and the officers.
Yes.
I'm trying to remember all this because it's been a nightmare. The night before, or when they did their interview, when Chris and Katie did their interview, I picked up on a few things that they said that nobody else has said.
Which interview?
First one was the very first one they did. When they said that if he would have went out the front door, they would have heard him.
Okay.
That they were on the phone for 3 hours. And then they hung up and went to bed at the same time. How do you know you went to bed at the same time if you're not there?
Right. Well,
Do you see what?
the thing about it is not only that. Think about this. If Chris went to bed at midnight, right, he's not going to be asleep till after, till probably 1 o'clock, right?
Right.
He let's say he is in Nashville, or Memphis rather, whenever he goes to sleep. He's in his camper. He goes to sleep at 1 o'clock. 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 hours and 15 minutes later, he is seen allegedly at his work. He doesn't have to be there till 7.
Right. Who shows up an hour and 45 minutes early?
Right. Well, and he only got 4 hours of sleep.
I am not buying Chris and Katie's story. I am sorry.
I don't either. I don't buy it.
I'm going to check. This is my opinion, and I know people aren't going to agree with me. I don't think that baby came home from the Texas Roadhouse. I think while they were having dinner, Chris was on his way.
I don't know.
Something happened in the car, or Katie may have told Sebastian, Chris is coming home tonight. You're going to have to sleep, it's been out there, that in the garage or wherever. Sebastian had a fit.
I think
something happened on that way home, and that campground. It don't take no 17 hours to drive 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but it took him 17 hours to go back and get that camper.
I think there was tension between Chris and Katie because of what had been going on since December, January with the CPS. Katie told Chris, in my opinion, that, they needed to just kind of, take a break from each other. And I think Chris tried to come home that weekend to talk to Katie. I think Katie maybe didn't, want to talk to Chris a lot that weekend. It seemed like she might have been gone a lot. She was gone a lot that weekend. And Katie came home that evening. Chris was still there. Something fired off in that house. And I think Sebastian was tired of Chris with his mom. I think he was growing up. He was going to talk back. And I think something happened in that house.
I don't know. It could have been in the garage because now they got all of a sudden they had a new bed in the garage
Mm-hmm.
that was supposed to be for his daughter. And if I remember correctly, Sebastian was with Seth during Christmas, while Faith was with Chris. Am I correct?
Say that again.
That's what. Back around Christmas, Faith was supposed to be at the house, and Sebastian was with Seth. Am I right?
That's what I've allegedly, yes.
Okay. How come this boy, if he disappeared out of this and walked out to this house, I've seen pictures and everything. I followed the trails and everything. There's cameras on every single one of them houses. Somebody's camera would have picked him up.
Oh, of course they would have.
And why all of a sudden the lights are out? And they're usually on and they were off.
The mic?
Yeah, over the garage, they said they always stayed on. The lights over the garage were always on, but they were off that night that Sebastian came up missing.
Oh, I don't know anything about that.
And then another thing is, who's to say that Chris didn't have somebody else standing in that trailer with that doggone cell phone while he was on his way doing that 3-hour call?
Becca, thank you so much, honey. I appreciate you.
Well, no problem. This thing has got me puzzled, and I'm going to figure it out before the detectives do.
It's frustrating, isn't it?
It really is, and this phony Tony Bologna guy needs to go. He needs to go.
Well, he's not doing Seth any damn favors, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he's not doing anybody favors. He's dragging all this misinformation and all this stuff. And just so you know, Katie and Chris's mom have the same exact cars, same color, and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's well, it's a different color, but it's a different color.
Okay. This was when I heard it was the same color. Just that one was older than the other one.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, Justin. I just wanted, I know we're all on the right path. We just got to get somebody to listen to us and say, hey, these stories ain't adding up. These timelines ain't adding up. And it needs to be handled.
Yep. Yep.
But thank you for your time.
Thank you, my dear. Appreciate you. All right. Bye-bye. All right. I'm going to play something here. Good call. Clutch your pearls. Hello? All right. Mods, this is credit goes to Duchess. I'll put the link in the description for the replay crew. I want to play a few things here. Bear with me. All right. This was Chris and Katie's first interview.
Same question. What is it that happened that caused him to leave the house? And I know you must be so worried and so concerned. Is there anything, if Sebastian were listening to this live stream right now, if you knew that he was out there, what is heavily involved in?
Only lifelong dream. He
found it.
So as far as cameras, everybody has turned over everything. There's thousands of hours of stuff that they are combing through to try to find an answer.
It looks like Tish is local to the area. She said, I go to the grocery store or anywhere and our eyes are peeled looking for him. I work at a local restaurant and I'm checking cars as they come through the drive-thru every day. Green is Sebastian's favorite color. What else can you tell us about Sebastian?
He's an avid Minecraft fan.
Hi.
Clutch your pearls.
Hi, Justin.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. What's your question?
How's it going? I don't have a question. I just wanted to call and chit chat.
Okay. Call back later. All right. Hi.
Loves the color green. It's got the goofiest and quirky smile in the world. I don't think anybody could.
The goofy and the quirkiest smile in the world. I think Sebastian's smile is beautiful and
Could
infectious.
mimic it, to be honest with you.
He looks like he's such a sweet young man. He
Loves to dance. That boy he'll dance his tail off. That's
hey,
for sure.
there's nothing wrong with that. Dancing is good for you.
Let me find it. I'm trying to find
Discovering the truth. I'm sure that
where they slept.
Somewhere in one of the news clips, I think it was reported that the FBI had made it on the ground. They're not. TBI, Tennessee Bureau of.
Now that's interesting. Well, I mean, I think Chris, what he was trying to say there is the FBI hasn't made it on the ground, but they're assisting. Oh, she's not calling me. I think it's something in the background or something.
Investigations has reached out to the behavioral analysis team or their CART team, and they are trying to work with them from a distance. They're not physically present, to help in any way, form, shape that they can render their assistance.
Sound like Katie drunk, maybe.
okay. Light and sound, thank you for being here. Have burner phones been looked into? I know some teens sneak phones from their parents or maybe his computer use at school to
We
see
haven't been
if he
able to
has
find
been
any
chatting.
evidence of a secret phone.
Okay, good. Because digital evidence is really important. They want to make sure that he's not speaking to anybody. This is such an unusual case.
This case is extremely unusual. Like I said before, we are pretty strict when it comes to certain things. As far as comms, communication, electronic devices, there was only one phone that he had. It was extremely locked down. He had access to his phone, his text message, to only his contacts list.
So in Chris and Katie's home, or on his cell phone, he only could speak to people on his contact list, which is a setting you can use in order to that way they can't speak to anyone, can't dial out anyone, can't change it, can't edit it.
A camera,
contact,
and a calculator, and that is it.
Camera and a
He's very
calculator.
happy kid usually.
He seems like it, and I know that you love him very much. I know that I can remember earlier in our conversation, you were referring to him as Bubba, and I think that's sweet.
And that's one of the stories. Are you okay, Bubba? Did you fall off the bed? I don't care what you're doing in there. Go to sleep.
I call my son Bubba also, so that really tore at my heartstrings because.
Now, if you give him medicine at 9 o'clock, which Katie never said she gave him medicine. She never said she gave him medicine. Why would she leave out she gave him his nightly medicine? She never said anything about a bath. I think something happened before, in my opinion, he was able to take a bath and before he was able to take his medicine. That's my opinion and my opinion alone. I think, in my opinion, that's the reason why she didn't mention a bath. She didn't mention his medicine, because if she gave it if he went to bed at 9 o'clock, she didn't go to sleep till midnight. That's 3 hours that medicine is in his system. 3 hours. That is way long enough for him to be asleep. Yes, her timeline is all about her and what she did that night. It's nothing about Sebastian. He goes in his room. She hears a little something. One of the interviews, she says it sounds like he's just fiddling around in there, playing around in there. Candy. Thank you, Jen. It's all about her. She's sitting there. She's studying. She's talking to Chris. She's also sleeping with one eye open, one eye shut, studying and also talking on the phone for 3 hours. Where's Sebastian in all this?
My son, he's 30, but he's still Bubba to me. So it just
comes to address her question as far as wells and things. I'm sure there's plenty of those around here.
They're searching them.
They actually pulled data for all the caves, underground voids, all of that stuff that could be accessible. They've brought in teams from all over the state that specialize in either cave explorations, water recovery rescues. We don't know that they have drained a pond. I can say that much, but they have searched, they've dived them all for sure. They've walked.
So at this point, I think this is interesting. At this point, going back and listening to this, he said he didn't know if they had drained any ponds at this point. I think that's interesting. They may have not drained that pond yet, but I would have suspected that they would have drained that little pond that was close to his house, but he says they haven't at this time.
I couldn't tell you how many miles of creeks and waterways, and they've used cameras. The sewers. It's not really the sewers they're looking in. It's the drainage pipes. So that's for clarification. Sewer pipes, we're not going to find a child in. Those are enclosed and secured. But the runoffs, water runoffs, were all searched by a dive team.
Okay. And I know Ginger Snap said is law enforcement looking into the possibility that he met a friend through Minecraft. I hope that they would just go ahead and vet all of that just to make sure, because you never know. I'm not really sure how all of that works because I'm not a gamer, but I know that there are ways that you can communicate like via Xbox because my son is a gamer. So, and Gabrielle, I believe that you guys were at the Costco on Saturday. That's when you took the picture of him, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
my wife was at.
He said we're not going to find a child in a sewer.
Costco on Saturday.
Yeah, not
the shirt
Sunday.
that's in the flyer where it says Optimism was on a Saturday. They were at BJ's on Sunday.
Okay, and when
it comes to
restaurant or
no, they are all wholesale, like a commissary style stores where they sell in bulk.
Oh, okay. So Costco Saturday, BJ's.
Yes, EquiSearch. They what I see you just said, they did search over 45 ponds in one weekend, and EquiSearch said they will definitely go back down if they are called to do so anytime.
Yes,
he loves to eat all the samples, and BJ's is new, so I took him.
You're a good mom.
And when it comes to like the one mentioned about Minecraft, like I stated before, he does not have any way to come with anybody on any form of online gaming. That is extremely restrictive. We don't allow that because of what can come of it.
They combed all of the electronics.
I can tell you this with no hesitation. Anything and everything we have given to the police and any other law enforcement to have them completely scan, validate everything, and they are currently. I mean, everything is empty. I mean, they were like, "You guys are pretty good at."
He's got to scratch his ego right here. Got to scratch his ego here. I'll try to turn the music down a little bit. I'm sorry, but I have to use it for fair use.
I said, "Yes, sir. We don't believe in allowing the kids to communicate through social media or through any type of gaming."
Looks like Missing in USA says, why are they wanting camera footage from Sunday afternoon?
Listen to this.
Because
that we cannot release right now.
Okay,
That is not something.
Why can't you? This is the thing. They were wanting camera footage from Sunday afternoon. Why? Why would they want camera footage for Sunday afternoon? Is it that something could have happened Sunday afternoon? Because I really think something happened Sunday evening. I think after they got home, something happened. But he says he can't disclose that. Why can't you talk about that? We can't disclose that. Make sure he stayed at home. It's HIPAA, yeah. Why would give custody to these people? Who would give custody to these people who have CPS charges pending? Because he was home? I don't know.
Something that has been authorized us to
right.
put out to the public.
And we respect that 100%. Ginger Snap says, I was reading that his favorite song is Eye of the Tiger. That's a great song.
He's got an eclectic taste in music. He have the ability to call 911. Believe it or not, most cell phones that are not even connected to service have an ability to actually call 911.
Yeah, you can pick one up off the shelf at a store and most will call.
Yeah. That's become a federal thing. That's
ask you.
Find it.
Let's go ahead and do was his question right now. Shackle Island Road and New Shackle Island Road, are they in the same area?
New Shackle Island Road runs parallel to Long Island.
So usually when someone hides remains, they usually do it in a location that they are very familiar of.
Old Shackle Island Road is actually farther.
1 second.
And the dad. So if you want to make any clarification about that, you have free reign to do so. We will not allow you to be disrespected here on this platform.
I have no malice or ill intent toward anybody. Everybody has an opinion,
of course.
But what is factual is that the father, the mother, and myself have been extremely cooperative. We have been vetted. We have been checked out. We have been questioned and everything of that nature. and literally have been cleared. There is no wrongdoing. There is no negative input from the parents or any of the family.
It's very interesting to me how he's saying, now, police have said that they have been cooperative. That is absolutely true. And they have said that there's no suspicion at this time of foul play. But my thing is not so much the evidence, it's the lack of evidence. There's nothing. How can Sebastian, a 15-year-old who has autism, leave no evidence? Prove it or it didn't happen. Of course they're not cleared. But he says they were. Now, the second thing is here, which I've heard no one talk about, is he says, or the family. Now remember, this is the first interview. Listen to this.
Folks, I mean, I will be honest and say this out loud. I have a custody case that is currently going on in another state, which has been brought to public light, but cleared. There is no wrongdoing. There is no negative input from the parents or any of the family.
Listen to this. Thank you, Nosy.
And it's hard for a lot of folks. I mean, I will be honest and say this out loud. I have a custody case that is currently out. We have been questioned and everything of that nature.
One second.
And literally have been cleared. There is no wrongdoing. There is no negative input from the parents or any of the family.
No negative inputs from the parents or the family. Who would state the family? And why does that trigger Chris so much?
And it's hard for a lot of folks. I mean, I will be honest and say this out loud. I have a custody case that is currently going on in another state, which has been brought to public light because people feel that they want to judge and think that they understand what's currently going on, and they don't. Because of that.
Now, at this time, nobody is even thinking about Chris's family, right? Nobody has even mentioned Chris's family at all by this time. Remember, this was the first interview.
I am being looked at in a very foul way. I don't need to repeat anything that's being said, but
Right.
But and it's perfectly okay.
There's people that's probably seen it on social media, and I want you to be able to have the opportunity to defend yourself. We have 248 people watching right now, and I'm sure that anyone that's watching this on the live stream, please respect this family. I mean, you can't have an idea of possibly what they are going through, and it's really not any of your business what is going on. And I understand that you do see your other child, which, and that doesn't have anything to do with Sebastian. And you guys,
no, he was not cleared here at all. Let me move along here.
It's about finding Sebastian, or without a trail, because my son would stumble.
Now remember, Katie is in this interview. She's in this interview, but she's not the one who's doing the talking. When she was the one that was supposed to be the only adult home.
If he had to step over a 1-inch rock or any form of incline. So, I mean, is he able to walk good? How is he able to
Someone commented on this and they said that her son is autistic, and she said, my son would stumble if he had to step over 1 inch of rock or any form of incline.
Rhonda from Canada.
Hey, Rhonda from Canada.
Hi, Justin.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
You know what? I think this whole case with Sebastian is a hoax. And why I say that is Seth made a comment one time that he knew where Sebastian was. He just didn't have the resources to get him.
I think.
Like, what does that mean?
I think that was he thought he had a good lead, and he thought Sebastian was there, but I don't think it's a hoax. I really don't think it's a hoax.
Well, because the way Katie and Chris are acting, not even, she's not begging for her son to come back.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris even made a comment to Seth one time that Seth, if people knew the truth, they wouldn't look for Sebastian.
Say that again?
I think this is... Okay, Chris told Seth when they were on TV together early in the case that if people knew the truth, Seth, people would not look for Sebastian.
I don't remember hearing that.
Yeah, if you check back, that he did say that.
Okay.
So, I don't know. I just think this is all just too strange. It is. There's something wrong with this picture.
It is. It's definitely strange. Some people are saying that you said that. Now, Chris said that?
Chris said that to Seth on TV. I'm not sure on whose platform. That Seth, if people knew the whole truth, they wouldn't be looking for Sebastian.
That sounds like anger or something towards Sebastian.
No, but it sounds like he knows something.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
Knows something.
I don't think Seth knows anything. I really don't think Seth knows anything.
Well, you wonder why Ham and Katie aren't together begging for their son to come back.
Because Katie won't even look at him. She won't speak to him because if you've been with someone before, you have a child with them, you've shared a child with them, you know their bullshit meter. You can't bullshit them, right? And Katie will not look at Seth. She won't speak to Seth because, in my opinion, Katie knows exactly where Sebastian is.
Okay, there's another thing that came up too on a platform about their divorce, and it's something about CP. Seth has a report with CP that he abused Sebastian. That's another thing that has come out too.
It's the CPS report. He was able to get it through an attorney, and there's supposedly, allegedly, allegations in there about Katie and Chris.
And Seth. That's their divorce. It's
That's
whatever.
Yeah, that's from years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, but he did abuse
Sebastian.
Sebastian.
That was thrown out by a judge.
It doesn't matter but it doesn't matter if it was 10 years ago.
No,
it was reported.
It was.
I don't trust Seth.
Well, I mean, that's fine. That's fine. You don't have, that's
Yeah, that's my opinion.
right.
But I mean, like, I think that all three of them are just in on it, and it's just a hoax.
I would pray to God that it was a hoax.
I'm hoping too, and I'm sure eventually it will come out. It's just a publicity act. That's my opinion.
Well,
I'm sorry, but
they would be going their asses to jail for a long ass time.
I know, but they're not even thinking of that right now. Right?
Oh, I think that's exactly what they would be thinking of at the time. I don't want this to get out because my ass is going to jail.
Jeff really wants a publicity. He really does. And with this Tony guy, and now they're going to bring this other woman in, and, it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, I've never seen a case like this, heard of a case like this. Even with Susan Smith at the time, what she did to her boys. I think her husband and her were separated at the time. They were both begging together on national TV to bring the kids back.
So what would be the purpose of all three of them doing it if it was a hoax?
Publicity.
Well, but
maybe make a movie later.
No, but you don't choose whether your story gets publicity or not.
You're gonna know with the missing child.
Yeah, but there's a lot of children that are missing. There's a lot of autistic kids that get, that run away. That doesn't mean you get publicity.
No, but they're bringing in more drama for the publicity.
Yes, but who says that? I mean, I get emails, texts, calls all the time, people begging to put their stories out. You know what I mean? And there's crazy stories out there that get no attention.
But not like this with the drama.
Trust. There is.
I think this is probably the biggest ever so far. I mean, didn't Chris even say this will be something that people are going to think about for years?
He said people are going to. He said this is going to be something they study for years. But I've heard that from other cases as well.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I'm right, and that he's safe.
I don't think that. I don't think they could get by the Secret Service and the FBI with knowing that he's alive. It's very. I just don't think that's possible. But
Well, look, wasn't it a case? Wasn't it a case where they blamed the parents? I think for the son disappearing, and later they found him in the chimney of the house.
Right. But he was dead.
I know, but nobody found him. For how long?
Oh, people go missing people go missing all the time, and people get blamed and stuff. But what you're saying is this is a hoax.
Yeah, I believe it. That they all know, and that Sebastian is alive.
Well, time will tell. Hopefully, we get answers soon. I just want answers. I want this to put to bed, and we can all sleep at night.
Yes, but thank you for taking my call, and you're such a beautiful looking person.
Oh, thank you so much, my love. I appreciate you. Thank you for calling.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye. Bye. Okay. She thinks that it is a hoax in her opinion. Silver Cobra, thank you so much for becoming a member, my dear. Welcome. And Mally Cat, thank you so much. Appreciate you. I have 2 cats that look. I have 2 cats that look exactly like your kitties. That's so cute. And Debbie, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. You know what happens when you get 5 memberships, right? We have to do an application process.
This is a Brooklyn-bound 2 express train. The next stop is Fulton Street.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
To the lesser fight, my body aches to be satisfied. My weakness comes and goes. My weakness comes and goes.
To the 5 members, you are approved. Thanks to Debbie, your name is in green. We are going to be having a members only very, very soon. Thank you, Debbie. Please thank our beloved Debbie for giving me those memberships approved. We have on the phone the one and the only Cassie Rocco, the legendary. She gets an applause as well.
Welcome, Debbie. Yes, the lady that just called when she was talking about Chris telling Seth that if they knew something that they would look for Sebastian.
Mm-hmm.
She was talking about on the TikTok. Justin, the TikTok guy, Justin on TikTok, when Seth came out and said that he was being blackmailed by Chris about the essay that Sebastian had when he was young, that if that ever came out, nobody would look. If Seth didn't stop doing something, then he would tell about Sebastian's essay and nobody would look for him. He was black. That's what Seth said. That Chris was blackmailing him on that. Remember?
Oh, about the essay. So Chris was saying, like, because he was alleging because Sebastian was essayed, nobody would look for him?
Yes, he was holding that he was blackmailing Seth. Seth said that Chris was blackmailing him because he wanted him to stop talking. And Chris said, if you don't stop, then I'm going to tell about the essay and nobody will look for Sebastian. That's what he said.
That is the stupidest bullshit.
You don't remember that?
No, but I think half of us have PTSD and block shit out at this point. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so
that's what you can ask the chat. That's what he said when he first came out with that. Because he said, I'm just going to tell it. I'm not going to have this over my head anymore.
I vaguely remember that. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing is, I'm just so mad at Tony still on the TikTok. It was not last night, but the night before.
Mm-hmm.
He said, or when he was talking about the vigil, he said, first of all, he called the motorcycle club gang a gang, and he also said that they had people at the vigil had to come with guns.
Oh.
Did you hear that?
No.
Yes, he did. Now, he said that. He said that they were packing heat.
God, he's stupid.
And the thing is, see, that's another reason I think he's behind something, because he just keeps wanting to make people stay away, because now if this gets out, guess what happens? Nobody's going to want them on their property for their vigil, because you can't bring guns to a school ground.
Of course not. Yeah, of course.
So now if he gets that rumor started, then everybody's going to think, oh, they're going to bring guns to the vigil, and then nobody's going to let them have it at the vigil. I said, no, he just every chance he takes
just tries to screw it up.
Yes.
It's insane.
Yes.
There's more to come.
So that's my 2 cents on him, and I just I can't with this guy, and it goes right back to where I think he got paid a big amount of money to make people turn away.
Interesting. Well, thank you so much.
Have a good day.
Thank you, my love.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. CP said he'd tell about Sebastian's inappropriate behavior. Got you. Okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, my dear. All right, let's go. Let's roll.
Navigate on his own. Is he able to walk? Can you hear me?
Oh, hold on. Let me pop this up a little bit.
Something to come in, so we'll give them a few minutes. And he is a high functioning autistic young man, so
he's high functioning. I mean, he's fully able to hold a conversation, and he walks and he loves to run.
Okay, well that's good. And Rhonda wants to know if he has a special.
Did you just said you just hear what she said right there? Hold on, caller. 1 second. I'm not taking calls right at the moment. I want you to listen to this. Where we're at, 5451. Listen to this.
He's high functioning. I mean, he's fully able to hold a conversation, and he walks and he loves to run.
I thought she said that Sebastian wasn't a runner. He's high functioning, autistic, and he walks and he loves to run. I thought she said my son's not a runner. Not a runner as not running away. Is that what that? Not a runner. Not an eloper. Okay. Gotcha. Never heard of it said like that before. But that makes sense.
Well, that's good. And Rhonda wants to know if he has a special button on
Seth
his phone.
also said he likes to run.
No.
On his phone?
I don't. Mm-mm.
Okay.
But he doesn't have his phone.
Yeah, and he left his phone at home, so he doesn't have it. Says, I'm local and I'm trying to get a direction. Thank you. And says something about exit 5. Are you guys close to exit 5?
1 second.
To that it was locked, and apparently he got around it and was able to access it. And
all right, listen to this. Hold on.
Access it. And that, her child was able to get around the security system that they had kind of set up on the phone, so they couldn't access the websites, to that it was locked, and apparently he got around it and was able to access it. And I guess that's kind of what they were talking about, in a couple of the texts in the chat. So that's what I was trying to address, because a lot of the people that come to my streams, they have children that are also autistic. So they deal with a lot of situations, and they can understand some of the things that you may be dealing with at this moment. I can only imagine what you're going through, not knowing where he is.
We, without publicizing our address, best I can tell you is we are off by the beach area, and that kind of area is where they've predominantly been focusing their searches.
Right.
When it comes to the special button, no. Just so some parents are aware, even if you lock down your child's phone, some children can actually turn their phone into safe mode, which would bypass the parental locks.
I don't think Sebastian would know how to do that. I was thinking about Beach Creek in Summer's case and beach area in Sebastian's, where Sebastian is.
That is that's hard to say. We don't really have an answer, but all I can say is every avenue is being searched, regardless of woods, roads.
Think he would have stuck to roads, or do you think he could have went off into the wooded areas?
That is that's hard to say. We don't really.
Would he have stuck to the roads, or would he have stuck to the wooded areas? Well, Dave Rader the other day, he said that it was hard for them to be in the wooded areas, and they have all the equipment and the right kind of clothing and all of that. Now, how about a 15-year-old that's barefooted or with socks on? Do you think he could get through all those woods, miles and miles and miles? Or would he take the roads? He's going to take the most comfortable way possible. And somebody, if he was on the roads, somebody was going to see him locally. A camera is going to get to find him, right? A camera's going to spot him, and it's dark. You think you can see? But she says he might have taken a little keychain flashlight. No.
We have an answer, but all I can say is every avenue is being searched, regardless of woods, roads, anything. Everything that can be searched
That
is
is
currently
true.
being searched.
Reckless Ellis, thank you for being here. Reckless Ellis says, I'm
Yeah.
not saying he did.
Yep. His feet would be scratched, they would be bloody, and that would also, I'm sure that they would spot blood on the leaves or whatever. It would certainly give scent.
Did this whatsoever,
His
but I
feet
did
would.
see a screenshot from Facebook where he yelled at the news and told them to get off his property. Is there any truth to that? Well, Reckless, I'll let them speak for themselves, but if the news was on my property, I might yell at them to get off my property too.
So I have not spoke to any news crew that have been physically on my property. I have spoken to a news crew that was down the street and just asked them politely, do not film my house. They were filming the police doing something, and that was perfectly okay. They gave me the word, we shook hands, and politely moved on. So, no, I mean, as far as yelling it, the
child. So, and we just appreciate anyone that's David may have some search dogs himself. David, if you want to send me an email, Chris on panel. And please be respectful.
Glued to it.
he's not.
Glued to it.
He's not.
One second.
Sit at home.
Believe it or not, it was actually a struggle to get him to carry his phone. He's not like your typical teenager. He's not these kids that got to stick their head in the phone. He's not
Glued to it.
He's not. Because of his restrictions, he knows that what it's for. It's a tool. It's not an entertainment device.
So if he wasn't on his phone, right, it doesn't sound like he was interested
he had his
in doing
struggles
on his phone.
with doing basic, simple things. And I
Scared
mean,
of
it was a
bugs.
constant reminder, a constant this. And all three parents have been extremely positive and constantly trying to get him like, hey, we got to do this, bud. We got to do that.
Take your phone.
Take your
Trying to
phone.
teach him to be responsible and to think about it.
And then Julio, I can contest. I mean, we work together out in San Diego, so he's amazing.
I think that's wonderful. Let me just take care of something here in chat real quick. Jennifer, I appreciate you being here. We welcome all opinions, but we're just how long he's been married to the mother. is irrelevant with Sebastian being share this out because it helps to get two similar cases. A Mississippi, I mentioned that to you earlier. Do you think it can get expensive? But
talked with, different families. It's
design a billboard. We can work together, put up some billboards for Jay that we have not talked about.
Alan's gone. I got rid of Alan. He's gone.
Thank
They should stand in front of a camera when you should put a microphone in front of them. And there have been 0 to join us tonight.
And I want to give them not active. And in fact,
efforts and emotions should be put towards finding him. He deserves to be home.
Find it.
And if you, in taking the time,
award funds that were going to this article, I was like, have you noticed any of those are missing as well?
Honestly, it'd be impossible to tell. He plays with paper clips and pennies and
Thank you for being here, Jason.
Does
he have anything that he holds on to? Anything that he has to have with him at all times? Something that keeps him calm when he has it?
He has various fidgets that he changes out and plays with.
Have you noticed any of those are missing as well?
Honestly, it'd be impossible to tell. He plays with paper clips and pennies and Legos, things that several could go missing and it wouldn't be noticeable.
Okay. Please put some green hearts and prayer hands in the chat for this family, because today is 7 days.
Now, there was something the other day, Katie was saying in an interview, I don't know if it's this interview, but she was saying, they said, how did you know what he went to bed in? Or something to that effect. And she said, well, because that's the last thing I saw him wearing. And whenever she said that, I thought, well, then if you know what he was wearing, then you should know the exact shirt that he was wearing, because he was, remember Chris said it was one of 3 different types of style. But if you knew what he was wearing when he went to bed, why can't you tell us which style it is then? All right. Caller, thank you for waiting. Hello? Okay. Or don't. So, thank you so much, September. Appreciate you, my dear. Has anyone asked if the 3-hour phone call allegedly was a video chat or Skype? Chris could have seen everything. In my opinion, everything. Interesting. I don't think that has been asked, actually, that I'm aware of. That's a good point. A lot of people do like Skyping and all of that now. Right? Let me find it here. Okay. Very interesting. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, my love. Okay, let's go. Why would Sebastian change outfits after getting home instead of putting on PJs? I mean, to be honest with you, some people don't sleep in PJs. They just sleep in comfortable clothes, or they don't sleep, or whatever. So I don't really take, personally, I don't take too much pause for that. Chris only does Facebook Messenger and on video call, also on speakerphone. But could he done Facebook video chat?
And this is a critical time that we need to come together and stop attacking the family. If you can't do something productive, like just sit on your hands or something, I don't know. And Trev, I do appreciate all that you've done. Trev has been sharing information every day. Anything that you want to add?
Those looking, and besides
$50, and I'm going to put it towards that billboard that I'm going to. Just know that our hearts are with you. Being willing to You're hard to find your son. People in person myself, y'all.
Since he left.
Oh my goodness. Leslie says remember, most people are good.
Just hope someone finds it.
Me too. Jolly Life says the family's trying to stay strong so they can get this baby found. They really don't have time to break down. Take care, guys.
Clutch your pearls.
Okay, we're gonna let them go.
Oh yes, I was calling to ask a question.
Trev, thank you so
Okay.
much.
I was wondering if y'all feel the same way that I feel about when the mother said that she went in there and woke him up, but he wasn't there.
Yep. Yeah, she's like, I went
Like,
to.
that's weird.
How did she state it? She's like,
She said, I went in there and woke him. I went in his room and woke him up, and he wasn't there. Like, that sounds really weird.
no, it wasn't like, it was something a little different, wasn't it? It was a little different than that. Someone in chat will know. But she said, how did she state that? I believe that was on Olivia's. Okay, she said that as exactly. Yeah, we caught that. He wasn't there or something. It was weird the way she put it.
Yeah, the way she said it sounded like he was there, but then he just disappeared.
Right.
That's the only question I have.
It was the way she worded it or something. There's just too much of this story and the behavior. It just stinks.
Yeah,
You know.
everything about the story is weird.
Yeah. It is.
All right, that's all I wanted to.
That's a good observation. Thank you, my dear.
You're welcome.
All right, bye-bye. We'll try to play that here in a minute. Very good call. I forget how she worded that.
For this live stream, I know they've been through so much. I don't want to keep them any longer.
No, absolutely. Thanks for doing that and for having me up.
Hold on one second.
With regularly, and I can't find it.
Okay, here it is.
How did they know he took a flashlight? Well, I asked that very same question today, and I was so glad that Sebastian's mother explained it to me, because when I read that news article, I was like, well, how did they know he had a flashlight? Do you want to tell us about that?
One of the first things that was asked is because he left when it was very dark outside, was if he might have taken a flashlight. And he actually...
I wonder if he had that flashlight for like his room or something. Was he afraid of the dark? Was he afraid to go to the bathroom at night? I wonder if that's the reason he had that little flashlight, or did he just play with it or whatever? But I don't believe he took a flashlight.
He has one that he plays with regularly, and I can't find it.
I can't find it.
Taking a flashlight. And he actually has one that he plays with regularly, and I can't find it.
She can't find it. Katie.
So it's likely that he took it.
Okay. Jason asks, thank you for being here, Jason. Does he have anything that he holds on to? Anything that he has to him?
Fake as press on nails, Stephanie.
Yes.
Have you noticed any of those are missing as well?
Honestly, it'd be impossible to tell. He plays with paper clips and pennies and Legos. Things that several could go missing and it wouldn't be noticeable.
Okay. Please put some green hearts and prayer hands in the chat for this family. to share? Is there anything else that you think that we have?
Simply sharing his flyer if you're here.
That we have.
It's, you know,
of what has actually transpired. Small opinion.
1 second.
And Wilson coming to.
Bear with me.
When we come home from having supper that evening, he was playing. When he went to bed, when I told him to.
Okay. So they came home from supper. He was playing when he got home.
Go to bed. He said, "I love you, Mama," and he said, "I love you, puppies." A little later in the evening, I myself went to bed, and when I went to wake him up for school, he wasn't here.
He wasn't here.
Sebastian is not a runner.
1 second.
Running. I mean, the young man doesn't go outside very much. I mean, everybody in the neighborhood knows him.
He doesn't go outside very much. No bath or brushing teeth. No giving him medicine. Nothing. And he doesn't go outside very much. So, yeah, leaving in the middle of the night after you supposedly give him his medicine, after midnight, you go to sleep. Yeah, sounds like he's going to run outside in the middle of the night without any shoes on. Absolutely ridiculous.
He is very to himself, so to speak. Between the hours of 12 and 6, he has basically vanished. Walked out of the house, the door was locked, and gone.
Basically vanished. Behavior analyst, word analyst will tell you when someone says basically vanished or pretty much vanished, anything using pretty much, basically, you're not telling us the whole entire situation. Nobody basically vanishes, especially basically a 15-year-old. Basically, Chris. Basically, he basically vanishes. Who basically vanishes? You're basically an idiot. Yep, he vanished. Basically. That she told Sebastian, "I love you too." That's an interesting observation, Shirley. Interesting. Basically vanishes.
The neighborhood knows him. He is very to himself, so to speak.
Exactly.
Between the hours of 12 and 6.
You're cute, Elafiday.
He has basically vanished. Walked out of the house, the door was locked, and gone.
He didn't take a phone. None of his shoes are missing.
Now, you told me that night that, now, Chris, you were at work. You were out of town at work,
Yes,
so you were not even home.
He basically vanishes. He basically took no shoes, no coat, but he might have taken a flashlight. Didn't take his phone. Yet, no scent. Yet, nothing on camera. And yet, you think people believe you, and some may.
Correct, ma'am.
And
I
Mom,
don't.
you fell asleep on the couch about 10 o'clock, but you said that Sebastian went to bed at 9 p.m.
Oh, so here she falls asleep on the couch about 10 o'clock. So let's talk about this for a second. If she falls asleep at 10 o'clock, from 9 to 10 when he goes to his bedroom, how can you be talking to someone for 3 hours if you fall asleep at 10 o'clock? How about that? Let's back that up a little bit.
He didn't take a phone. None of his shoes are missing.
Now, you told me that night that, now, Chris, you were at work. You were out of town at work,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
you were not even home.
Correct.
And
I'm going to
Mom,
slow it down. Hold on.
you fell
We're going to slow it down a little bit.
asleep on the couch about 10 o'clock, but you said that Sebastian went to bed at 9 p.m. And then you got up off the couch and you went to bed, and you said that was around midnight.
Midnight.
And nothing was unusual at that point. Everything seemed okay.
There's actually a piece of, so to make something very crystal clear, so that way
Okay.
there's transparency across the board. Me and the mom were on the phone at 9:43 or 9:46 in the evening. We stayed on the phone for quite some time. The call logs have been verified.
Okay. So if you're on the phone from 9:43 to 9:46 and you have a 3-hour phone call and the call logs have been verified, how can she be asleep on the couch at 10 o'clock, also be studying for her schooling, and also be asleep? And at 9:43 or 9:46, at 10 o'clock, you hear the thud around 10 o'clock. That's an interesting time. Did you call him, Katie, freaking out at 9:43 or 9:46? Shit hit the fan around then, about 10 o'clock, when you heard the thud? Me and the mom, weird. I know, truth prevails. It's very weird. So if you call her at 9:43 or 9:46, but you fell asleep at 10 o'clock, which is what just stated, that's a 20-minute call. 9:40, it's so precise. Let's go back and listen to that.
Went to bed at 9.
Hold on
and
one
you
second.
said that
He didn't take a phone. None of his shoes are missing.
Now, you told me that night that, now, Chris, you were at work. You were out of town at work,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
you were not even home.
Correct.
One second. Damn it. One second.
Mom made an effort to look and search several times. Mom has called me, police departments, TB.
Went to bed at
Are missing.
Now, you told me that night that, now, Chris, you were at work. You were out of town at work,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
you were not even home.
Correct, ma'am.
And Mom, you fell asleep on the couch about 10 o'clock, but you said that Sebastian went to bed at 9 p.m.
He went to bed at 9 p.m. She falls asleep at 10.
And then you got up off the couch and you went to bed, and you said that was around midnight.
Midnight.
Okay. She falls asleep, and at midnight, she gets up to go to bed. Now, where's the thud in between here at this point? Where's that thud?
And nothing was unusual at that point. Everything seemed okay.
There's actually
Chris is going to chime in here.
a piece of, so to make something very crystal clear, so that way
Okay.
there's transparency across the board. Me and the mom were on the phone at 9:43 or 9:46 in the evening. We stayed on the phone for quite some time. The
9:43 to 9:46 was on the phone for quite some time.
call logs have been verified.
The call logs have been
By
verified.
all the police departments, TBI included.
Well, he's just covering his ass right there. Oh, it screams foul play. It screams foul play. That they've been verified. Well, nobody's screaming you're guilty at this point. It's about finding your son, your stepson. Nobody asked you to transparency across the board. 9:43 or 9:46. Call logs have been verified. They've been verified, people. It means they've been looked at. They haven't had time to verify them truthfully until they get the warrants.
We stayed on the phone. It was very lengthy. Mom did slightly start falling asleep while she was on the couch. I had said, "Hey, you need to wake up."
Okay. Mom is falling asleep. Hey, you need to wake up.
Put the dog's up. Go to bed. Now, mind you, that was right around midnight, just before midnight or right around midnight.
Mhm.
Okay. So how can she be asleep at 10 o'clock, but she calls you at 9:43 or 9:46? 20 minutes later at 10 o'clock, there's a thud that so far you haven't mentioned in this interview at all. I'm telling you guys, I'm telling y'all, in my opinion, something happened around 9 o'clock in that house. 9 o'clock, 9:30. Shit hit the fan, in my opinion.
So then mom does go to bed and wakes up.
Mom goes to bed. He's making key points here. Mom, not Katie. He's distancing as much as he can. Mom, not my wife, Katie. Not Katie. Mom points. Mom does this, then mom does this, and then mom does this. Key points, in my opinion.
Early in the morning to go wake her son up, get him ready for school. And now we have a worried mom who can't find her son in the house.
And now we have a worried mom who can't find her son in the house. Not, my wife goes in to check on our stepson, right? Go check on my son. Go check on Sebastian. And then she can't find him in our house. Yeah, I thought it was our son. No, it's just points. Mom does this. Mom does this. Mom goes to bed. She wakes him up, goes in to wake him up. And now we have a mom who can't find her son in her house.
Mom made an effort to look and search several times.
Chris, how do you know this? You weren't there, Mother Chicken.
Mom has called me at the time and asked me, she was like, I can't find him. I was like, do what? And she goes, yeah, I cannot find him. I said, well, hang on. I made the phone call and reported it to the sheriff's department because that's what we're supposed to do. And within 10 minutes, the sheriffs were dispatched to the location.
I can't find him.
And
Hold on. Let me make a phone
you had
call.
told me-
You're 3.5 hours away. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to talk to you, Chris. They want to talk to Katie. Gypsy Mama, thank you so much for 1 month. Key points from the plan. Do you think Chris and his family could have done this without Katie's knowledge? No. I don't think they could have done it without Katie's knowledge. Ooh, very good point. Let's see here. Let's see if they three-wayed. Let's go back to that.
In search several times. Mom has called me at the time and asked me, she was like, I can't find him. I was like, do what? And she goes, yeah, I cannot find him. I said, well, hang on. I made the phone call and reported it to the sheriff's department because that's what we're supposed to do. And within 10 minutes, the sheriffs were dispatched to the location.
And you had told me that there hadn't been any particular situation that had occurred where you felt like there would have been something that happened. And
No, we had a great day. So far, there's no three-way call here, is it there?
also had asked you if there were any friends that Sebastian might have possibly left the house with, or if he had any contact with anyone on social media. Do you want to comment about that again?
He doesn't have a social media.
Okay.
And the only friends that he had were a couple of kids in school.
Okay.
All the kids that have had any interaction with him have been interviewed and asked.
Okay.
We as parents know how social media can be.
Right.
And seeing how kids can be easily manipulated.
All right. Now let's check this out, guys. Okay. The next interview that happens is Chronicles of Olivia.
Colossal popcorn. Came home to put groceries away because we bought snacks because he's 15 and snacks. We went to the bowling alley, and then from there we went to dinner. Came home. He took out the trash because that's his chore. He takes the can to the end of the driveway. About 9 o'clock, told him to go to bed. He's come out of his room where he was
It's low.
crying.
I don't know.
All right, good night, Mama. Good night, puppies. Love you. We went to bed. He was doing something in his room because about an hour later I heard some noise and I was like, I don't care what you're doing in there, but go to sleep.
Okay. 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. He goes to bed. Thank you, love. 9 o'clock. He goes to bed. Right. 10 o'clock. She hears a sound. Cobalt. 10 o'clock. She hears a sound. Well, 10 o'clock, she tells Duchess that she's asleep. I agree, Lisa. At 10 o'clock, she tells Duchess that she's asleep, but Chris says at 9:43 or at 9:46, he calls and talks to. Now, listen, if you are calling at 9:43 or 9:46, are you going to talk to someone for nearly 3 hours that late? Especially when you have to be up very early in the morning. Thought he played. That as well.
And about midnight, I got up and I went to bed. And 6 o'clock, I went to wake him up for school Monday morning. And that's when he wasn't here.
What was going through your mind at that point? Like, what were the feelings that you were feeling?
To censor myself. Holy freaking crap, this can't be happening. Where is my kid?
To censor, because that's what you do, is censor yourself. Holy freaking crap. It's not natural. It's not natural, guys. So I need to go back through that again.
I went to bed. He was doing something in his room because about an hour later I heard some noise and I was like, I don't care what you're doing in there, but go to sleep. And about midnight, I got up and I went to bed. He took out the trash because that's his chore. He takes the can to the end of the driveway. About 9 o'clock, told him to go to bed. He's come out of his room where he was playing. And he said, all right, good night, Mama. Good night, puppies. Love you. He went to bed. He was doing something in his room because about an hour later I heard some noise and I was like, I don't care what you're doing in there, but go to sleep.
So about an hour later. Now, an hour later would be 10 o'clock. The phone call happened at 9. What time did they say? 9:43 or 9:46? So about 10 o'clock. Okay. Let's think about that. 9:43, 9:46. Katie says she hears him in there at about 10 o'clock, which means she was just had really gotten on the phone, allegedly, with Chris. If it's about 10 o'clock. She told Duchess she was sleeping around 10 o'clock. Chris says in the other interview that around midnight she was getting real sleepy. Now, she says he comes out of his room and she says, hold on.
He was doing something in his room because about an hour later I heard some noise and I was like, I don't care what you're doing in there, but go to sleep. And about midnight I got up and I went to bed. And 6 o'clock I went to wake him up. I went to bed. He was doing something in his room because about an hour later I heard some noise and I was like, I don't care what you're doing in there, but go to sleep. And
Yeah, there's no thud. She just hears something in there. Hears something in there. There's no mention.
about midnight, I got up and I went to bed. And 6 o'clock, I went to wake him up.
Nothing. Nothing about a phone call. There's no phone call. There's no Bubba. There's no phone call. She didn't say that until Smiley. No, she didn't say thud until Nancy Grace's phone call. She said she heard him in there, but she just heard him, playing around. Yes, Thomas. Nothing. Yep, Nancy's was the first to hear thud.
I'm up for school Monday morning. And that's when he went in here.
Monday morning. She says Monday morning.
What was going through your mind at that point? Like, what were the feelings that you were
Thank you so much, Gypsy Mama. Thank you, my love, love, love. Love, love, love. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you, babes. Why didn't that boy go outside to play? Why weren't play dates set up for him? Was Sebastian involved in any sports? No, no, and no. Why? Kinda like a prison. In my opinion, they were crap parents. Her story always changes. I agree.
feeling?
To censor myself. Holy freaking crap, this can't be happening. Where is my kid? Choice words were used. Like, where the F is he? I had looked through the house for him because it was typical for him to get up and come and rummage for snacks and things like that. And he likes to dip behind the, walls and watch, and then he comes out after I come back and he likes to scare me. But after I looked, and I mean, mind you, all of this took place in like 1 minute flat. But I didn't see him in his room. I looked all over. I ran through the whole house. I looked out all the doors and windows, and I was like hollering his name. And I picked up the phone and I called my husband, and I said, I can't find him. And he said, what do you mean? I said,
Here we
he's
go.
not in this effing house. I can't find our son. And I jumped in my.
So she talks to Chris at 9:48, right? 9:46, 10:46, 11:46, 12:46. That would be a 3-hour phone call. So it can't be a 3-hour phone call, Chris and Katie, because that would be after midnight. And you said she went to bed at midnight. Right? That would be 12:46. Not 12 o'clock. That's an extra hour. So it was not a 3-hour phone call, like you said. Or your timeline's messed up. All right. This is where it gets awkward.
Car, and I drove around the neighborhood, and I drove over by the school, and he's already at this point I was like hysterical, and I was crying, I was screaming.
Look at the anxiety.
He was like, three-wayed. He three-wayed law enforcement and was telling them like our son is
It's a
missing.
long
We don't
time
know what's
ago.
going on.
Look at the anxiety.
He was like around the neighborhood, and I drove over by the school, and he's already at this point I was like hysterical, and I was crying, I was screaming.
Watch your tap. Watch your tap. Let's watch Chris.
he was like, three-wayed. He three-wayed law enforcement.
This was not talked about in the first. Oh yeah, she was messing it up right there. He's all. Oh yeah, he's already. Yep, I've already said it. He's already. Who? What's he doing? What's he doing?
And he was like, well, and he's already like, at this point, I was like hysterical and I was crying, I was screaming, and he was like, three-wayed. He three-wayed.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is why, in my opinion, Katie cannot talk. Right there. Right there is why Katie cannot talk, in my opinion. Right, Tar. That is why Katie can't talk. Ricora.
Enforcement, and was telling them like, our son is missing and we don't know what's going on. And he was like, go back to the house, they're on their way. And I ran back, drove back to the house, and
We told him, he told me to go back to the house, that they were on our way. You're on three-way phone call with them, numbskull. He doesn't need to tell you that. If they told you, if you were on the phone with them and they said, we're on our way, you would obviously know to go back to the house. Chris would not have to tell you to go back to the house. 911, the law enforcement, rather, not 911, the non-emergency line that you called when they transferred you or whatever the hell they did, they wouldn't have told you, or Chris wouldn't have had to told you to go back to the house. They would have said, go back to the house, we're on our way. Yes. He said, go back to the house, the cops are on their way. Dummy. You're on the phone with them. You're on the three-way with them.
Was telling them like, our son is missing and we don't know what's going on. And he was like, go back to the house, they're on their way. And I ran back.
Go back. He's like, go back to the house, they're on their way.
Drove back to the house, and 20 days later, we found him.
She cuts it there because there's too much anxiety. And 28 days later, we still haven't found him. She cuts it right there. And because after a high stress situation, clutch your pearls. Hello? Oh, sorry. I was muted. Clutch your pearls. Hello?
Yes, the contact. So
You're breaking up, dear.
I'm sorry. And ask the question.
Can't understand her. Sorry. She ran back to the house and then she said, well, drove.
Yeah, I can't even imagine that.
Drove back to the house, and law enforcement. And at this point, I was like hysterical and I was crying, I was screaming. I jumped in my car and I drove around the neighborhood and I drove over by the school, and he's already like, at this point, I was like hysterical and I was.
He's already. And at this point, he's already. Look at this. Look how she does her hand. At this point, he's already. Notice this.
Around the neighborhood and I drove over by the school, and he's already like at this point I was like hysterical and I was crying, I was screaming, and he was like, at this point I was like hysterical, and I drove around the neighborhood and I drove over by the school, and he's already like at this point I was like hysterical and I was crying, I was screaming, and he was like, three-way.
He was like three-way. These people, in my opinion, I don't believe these two for a fucking second. I'm just going to be real with you. I don't believe this for a second. The anxiety.
And he's already.
She's getting anxious. He's there looking to the side. She's getting anxious. He coughs. That we've all known something and told a person, and you're like, shut up, don't say that, right? But this is a whole different level that they're on, right? So a lot of us, right? But once she's getting anxious, he wants her to change the subject or whatever. And then once he coughs, notice this very brief pause, and then the anxiety goes up 1,000% for her. And then it's getting rid of that energy with the hands. It's getting rid of that energy with the hands. And it's the tapping, getting rid of the energy and being able to remember it. How many times do you see someone doing a math problem or whatever, and they'll use their hands to do the math problem or whatever? They're retracing it in their brain. They're remembering it. Right?
Like at this point I was like hysterical and I was crying, I was screaming, and he was like,
there we go.
He three-wayed law enforcement, and was telling them like our son is missing and we don't know what's going on, and he was like, go back to the house, they're on their way, and I drove back to the house, and 20 days later we found him.
Look at that eyes. Watch Chris. Watch Chris's eyes. Went straight to the camera. 28 days later. Her neck got red. Watch. Okay. Look at those eyes. Turned straight to the camera after she said that. Chris wants to see Olivia's reaction. We're going to play this in really slow mode.
Like 1 minute flat, but I didn't see him in his room. I looked all over. I ran through the whole house. I looked out all the doors and windows, and I jumped in my car and I drove around the neighborhood, and I jumped in my car and I drove his name, and I picked up the phone and I called my husband and I said, I can't find him. And he said, what do you mean? I said, he's not in this effing house. I can't find our son. And I jumped in my car and I drove around the neighborhood.
All right, 1 second. Oh God, what did I do?
Sunday morning.
Give me a second.
He wasn't here.
What was?
He took out the trash because that's his chore. He was doing something in his room because about an hour later I heard some noise. 6 o'clock, I went to wake him up for school.
Mind at that point, like what was going through your mind
Monday morning, and that's when he wasn't here. There, but go to sleep. He was
Hold
in
on.
his room because about an hour later, about midnight, I got up and I went to bed. And 6 o'clock, I went to wake him up for school Monday morning, and that's when he wasn't here.
What was going through your mind at that point? Like what were the feelings that you were feeling?
To censor myself, holy freaking crap, this can't be happening. Where is my kid? Choice words were used. Like, where the F is he? I had looked through the house for him because it was typical for him to get up and.
I looked through the house for him because it was typical for him to get up.
Come and rummage for snacks and things like that, and he likes to dip behind the walls and watch, and then he comes out after I come back and he likes to scare me. But after I looked, and I mean, mind you, all of this took place in like 1 minute flat. But I didn't see him in his room. I looked all over. I ran through the whole house. I looked out all the doors and windows, and I was like hollering his name. And I picked up the phone.
I think that's an interesting thing. Hold on.
I didn't see him in his room. I looked all over. I ran through the whole house. I looked out all the doors and windows.
I looked out all the doors and the windows.
Hollering his name.
And I was like hollering his name. Why would you look out all the doors, all the windows? I mean, I can imagine looking out
I
some.
picked up the phone and I called my husband and I said,
The phone, and I called my husband and said,
I can't find him. And he
I can't find him.
said, what do you mean? I said, he's not in this.
And he said, what do you mean? I said, he's not in this effing house.
And I jumped in my car and I drove.
Okay, here we go. We're going to slow it really down here.
Around the neighborhood and I drove.
I jumped in the car. Anyone says I like means they're not giving you the whole story either. Hold on. Pay attention to her neck. She said, yeah, 1 minute flat, 1 minute flat as well. Around the neighborhood, and I drove over by the school.
And he's
already. Who's he? Who's he, Katie? Tell us who he is. This is not Michael Jackson. Hee hee. It's not Michael Jackson. Hee hee. Okay. Who is he? Y'all do not use people's names in this. You don't say Katie. You don't say Sebastian. Y'all like that? My MJ impersonation.
At this point, I was like hysterical.
By this point, she's already hysterical. Like hysterical. Like hysterical. The house layout doesn't match your story either. It doesn't. Nope, sure doesn't.
And I was crying, I was screaming, and
here we go with the cough. Now the anxiety is going to set in even more. Watch the pause. Here we go.
He was like,
Pause. Right here.
three-way. He three-wayed.
He was like, three-way. He three-wayed. Three-wayed. He three-wayed. KB lives 25 minutes away. I thought she lived like 12 minutes away.
Law enforcement. And
Notice how it's not 911. Yes, he looks like he still drags his knuckles. I know. He does look Neanderthalish. He definitely does. He definitely looks like he drags his knuckles, in my opinion. Law enforcement. Not 911. Not emergency. Can't see his arm. 3 is a deceptive number. And there's a lot of 3s in this case.
was telling them like our son is missing, we don't know what's going on.
And was telling them our son is missing and we don't know what's going on.
He was like, go back to the house.
And he's like, meaning Chris, go back to the house. They're on their way. Go back to the house. They're on their way. This is where I have a problem as well. If you are on a 3-way call, they would have said, go back to the house. Chris would not have to tell you. You were on the 3-way call yourself. Remember, Katie? Guarantee you that in another interview we'll pull, Katie says that she doesn't that she was, or Chris wasn't, one of them wasn't on the phone the entire time. Well, even if she was muted, you can still hear. I can mute you all day long, but I can still hear. I can still hear what 911 saying. Or not 911, law enforcement.
And I ran back, drove.
Go back to the house. They're on their way. And I ran back. Well, drove. Katie, how far away were you from the home? I mean, if you're like in the neighborhood or by the school, it's, you know, you're going to hear the cops. You're going to hear the police come. You're going to hear the police come. Right? You're going to hear the police come. Oh, it's very deceptive language. You're in the neighborhood. You are at the school. You're going to hear the police come. He's not going to have to tell you that. You were on the phone. How far away were you, Katie? They were there within 10 minutes. And there were a lot of them. screaming, crying, driving at the same time, the roads would have had traffic. I don't think so. Let's continue.
Back to the house,
And I drove back. Well, I ran back, well, drove back to the house, and
20 days later, we found him.
20 days later, we haven't found him. Haven't found who? Because there's lots of hymns. Disconnecting. No ownership. No, not my son. Not Sebastian.
Can't even imagine how stressful that is. And also, like when we were driving up here, like this neighborhood is so pretty and nice. And do you think, has he ever like walked away before, or like has that ever happened? It's just no, first time.
He's not a child that wanders. He's not one that is.
He doesn't have a history of being an eloper, which is common. And I have friends with children on the spectrum who do struggle with elopement with their children. But no, Sebastian, that's one thing. It's always been a blessing. He's not been an eloper or a runner. His primary areas are like social and emotional dysregulation issues and things like that. But he's very smart. He's functional.
Hold on. What does she say right there? His primary.
His primary areas are like social and emotional dysregulation.
Okay. Social and emotional dysregulation.
Issues and things like that. But he's very smart. He's functional. Overall, he's a pretty happy kid. I mean, he's a teenager. He's coming into his hormones.
He's a teenager. He's kind of coming into his hormones. Now, to me, this is very interesting. What she says in this interview. And
angry that he's growing a mustache. But
she's talking about how he's becoming a man and his hormones. He's angry. He's growing a mustache. Right? Now, why are you talking about your child being angry? Did something happen to justify that? Are you justifying that? You usually don't talk about your child in a negative way or a negative anything negative about your child whenever they're missing or they're deceased. That's why, you know, whenever you watch anything, you know, with someone who has died, you know, when they could have made a lot of mistakes, but they will only point out the good because you don't speak ill about them.
for the most part, he's a happy kid. And
what are your theories? Like, I'm sure your mind has thought of every possible thing that could have happened, but is there any theory that you can talk about that you think?
What I can tell you is with all law enforcement, with everybody that's involved, there's nothing that's been eliminated. Everything is on the table. Everything is being looked at from every possible aspect.
Everything from he got out and walked away and was outside of the search radius before we started searching to the worst. And
and that's currently where we're at. I mean, it's
Really try not to go down that road because we're gonna find him.
Speculating causes problems. Assumptions cause issues, and based on
He goes straight to speculating.
facts of what everybody knows right now, there's nothing, and everything is still on the table to being looked at.
We just know he's out there somewhere.
Katie just says, and we just know he's out there.
One other question I have is recently Channel 5 in Nashville, they had security footage that showed 2 flashlights the night he disappeared. Is there anything that you think about this video or?
Sure. So there's a lot of speculations about that video that are floating on the internet. Okay. And that is exactly what it is. It's speculations. Now, what it can give you an official statement on is TBI Newslink has released a statement from law enforcement, between local law enforcement, state law enforcement, some federal law enforcement, and they have analyzed that video so many times over that everything that everybody is trying to assume is a flashlight, I hate to say this, it's not. As much as we would love it to be one, it's not. I'm not going to go into details as far as where that video is shot from, but I can tell you, as the parents, we have seen the video.
Why wouldn't you tell us where that video was shot from? If it doesn't matter, why won't you tell us where that video is shot from?
Firsthand from law enforcement. We know exactly where it was taken from.
We know exactly where it's taken from, but we're not going to tell you where it was taken from, even though it doesn't matter. And even though the sheriff says it's nothing at all, but I can't tell you about it. Because it might be something later.
That is being assumed right now is actually true about that video, unfortunately. And anything about any other videos or anything like that, please refer to the TBI news link that they have out there, the updated Amber Alert stuff. And it will give you the most up-to-date information that all law enforcement has. And they will give you current as far as what's what and how they're looking at things.
And if there's any new video, forward it to them.
Please.
Yeah. Security footage is really like a game changer. We're working on Riley's strain and trying to find like if someone missed one on a corner or something. So that's
around this neighborhood and this whole community. I mean, I can tell you that much here. When it comes to the cameras, there has not been one person that has said no. And trust me, it is greatly felt that everybody has been so open, so helpful.
Now, Chris will say people have shared all of their camera footage, but he will not say if he had cameras in his house because of security. But he'll tell on the neighbors.
Any which way they can. I mean, there's been some families that have actually been on vacation that weren't home, and they got information. They got
I don't either.
From that family.
That ain't a damn trash truck.
Take a look at their cameras,
my opinion,
and go in their houses without them even being present, which has been amazing. So, yeah,
that's good. If there was something that you could say to Sebastian if he was listening, what would you say?
Oh, God. That if you can see this or hear this, that we just want you home, baby, and we love you. And there ain't nothing gonna stop us from coming and getting you and bringing you home.
There ain't nothing gonna stop us. Huh. Sounds like there ain't nothing that's gonna get you to come out and talk anymore, Katie. People's like, well, I wouldn't either, as much as y'all criticize her. I'd say, pick a finger, I don't care, because you can say what you want about me. I just want you to find my child.
I can't speak for his father, but I'm pretty sure we all have the same opinion that we love you, miss you, we want you home. And if you can, call us, get wherever you can, let us know, and we will come get you.
Call 911, run out into the street, go in public, anything. The signs that we've been blessed to have family, friends, and even some in the community that have been helping us, but we've been out spreading those as far as we can, even over state lines, trying to get awareness because
I think that was interesting. You said even over state lines. Like Mississippi, maybe?
not everybody knows that he's missing, and there's a chance that if someone could see him and not even realize who he is. So we want to get his face out there because we want him home.
Space out there because we want them home, surprisingly.
Even locally, there are some folks that don't even know what's going on, and it's kind of like a shocker. Like, how do you not know? It is amazing because in the past couple of weeks, you've got two cases. A 15-year-old boy that has vanished without a trace. You've got a 22-year-old
Without a trace. How the hell do you go without a trace? How the hell do you go without a trace? A 15-year-old autistic child. Nope. Trust me. He can't hide his scent.
6'4" or 7" college kid from Missouri who has vanished without a trace. That's a huge significance here. That it's like, wow, how?
Yep, even Riley.
That's scary.
Even Riley caught on camera.
And unfortunately, the college kid is from.
And Riley was caught on camera quite a bit.
Missouri, I think.
Yeah, Missouri.
I can only imagine what his family is going through.
It's like your worst nightmare come alive.
Do you guys receive hate on the internet?
Yes, and it's ongoing. It's every single day. People are people, and they have their opinions. Everybody is formulating their idea of what's going on and who's guilty and who's not guilty because they want to know or they feel they need to know.
Well, I mean, at this point, how do you know that Sebastian just walked off on his own? How do you know someone didn't come and pick him up, Chris? How do you know that? So I would say, you know what, I understand because we want to know as well. Did he walk out on his own, or did someone get him? Did someone pick him up? Because we don't know either. And if there's somebody out there that picked him up, we need to know who it is. You're just worried about them pointing fingers at you.
The difference. Unfortunately, what I will tell you is that when you're the family in this position and you're working with law enforcement and everything's going the way it goes, people automatically assume this parent or that parent. And in this situation, I can promise you every single parent has been vetted. I can't go into details, but I can tell you we have been vetted.
We have been vetted. I can't go into details, but we have been vetted. Okay?
And we have been cleared
And we have been cleared
of all possibility of wrongdoing.
of all possibility of wrongdoing. Where does he get this at? Because that's the furthest from the truth. Furthest from the truth. Now, they have said that you are cooperating with them and that they don't have any suspects and that you are currently not suspects, but they have not said anybody, you, the man in the moon, or anyone, and that is true. Nobody has been cleared
Foul play, there's nothing to that.
of any possibility of wrongdoing, foul play. There's nothing to that. That is not what Seth said, because he said everyone is a suspect until Sebastian is found. Yes, Seth has even said he is a suspect. And he's absolutely okay with that until his son is found and this is figured out. Right? So it doesn't feel like they share the same sentiment.
We've heard all kinds of stories.
I pretty much don't even go online anymore at this point.
I, on the other hand, I do go on.
Oh, we know you do, Chris. We know you do.
And I do talk to these folks, and I want them to understand they have this formulated opinion on who we are, not who we truly are. They've never met us. We've never crossed paths with some of these folks. But I have told them online, if you want to know, just ask me. I'll answer your questions to the best of what I can. There are some.
Chris, you haven't came up and answered my questions yet.
Things that I
come on
cannot
up
do because law enforcement has dictated that we are not to provide.
Okay. I could not give you because law enforcement has dictated
We are not to provide certain information, but I will try. I am direct, I am brash, but I am very respectful.
Okay. I don't care if you're brash. I don't care if you're respectful. Just come up. Talk to me.
So if you have questions,
talk to a man, Chris.
Ask. I'll give you what I can.
Talk to a man that just wears a little bit of lipstick.
Just be respectful, please.
I will be super respectful.
there's-
I will be more respectful than you, Christopher. Come on up.
3 parents, and there's thousands and millions of people out there that may have a question. We are trying to get to them. I promise you.
How has your guys' life been affected by this? Like, I know it's a broad question, but what's like when you wake up in the morning, what's it just like?
Miserable.
Yeah, scared of man.
think of it like this. You wake up every morning and your routine is what it is and you know it, right? Now wake up when this happens and you can't figure out what to do. You struggle every single day on trying to get out of the bed, to deal and face everybody's negativity, and you try to make it a positive thing.
Or the fact that my son's still not.
Not you get out of bed and try not to focus on everyone's negativity. How about just we get out of bed and we try to focus on finding our son? That's what you should say. Focused on us? Why? That's weird. You should be focused on your son.
We have a bedroom that's empty that is never normally ever empty, except for when he's with his dad.
We have a bedroom that's empty that's not normally ever empty except when he's with his dad. Do you have a bed or a mattress in the garage, perhaps? I mean, could you elaborate? A second-hand bed? Chris? 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 Do you have a bed? A mattress that was given to you as a second hand that's in the closet or the garage. He was going to say bedroom that will never be filled again.
Negativity, and you try to make it a positive thing.
Or the fact that my son's still not home.
It's interesting that there's a crane. Out of all the toys, he wanted a crane. It's probably more. I'll meet him at the steakhouse, sure. Chris, call me. I will meet you this weekend. We'll do a sit-down interview. I'll meet you this weekend. Man to man. Lipstick to no lipstick. Perfume to no perfume. This to knuckle dragging. Let's do it.
We have a bedroom that's empty that is never normally ever empty, except for when he's with.
Shit, I forgot. Damn it. It is. Steak is a HIPAA violation.
What the hell? Oh my God, no way.
Wear my coral shirt. Chris, I will wear anything you want me to wear. I will wear my coral shirt, my striped shirt. I will wear overalls if you want me to. I don't care. I will drive you. I will drive there. I will buy you a steak that is as rare as you can sink your teeth into. Chris likes his steak. True story. He said this the other day. Chris likes his steak cooked 5 seconds on each side. I'm serious, Chris. Swear to God. I will meet you this weekend. If you want to do a sit-down interview, I will be as respectful. I will not be brash. You can be brash.
With his dad every other weekend. So now we have a child that's missing. So there's no words to describe it, but I can just tell you it's like you get up and now you don't know what to do.
Sebastian's parents also talked about how his actions and behaviors could be different, or how he would respond in a new environment.
Well, that's kind of tricky because Sebastian hasn't been on his medication in 20 days. So he is rambunctious. He's going to be hungry. He turns into a bottomless pit. I mean, he's your teenage boy, always hungry. On the spectrum, yes. But not one autistic child in this world is like another one. What we can tell you is he's smart. He can be goofy. He kind of has issues with personal space. He hasn't mastered.
He can be
up in your face kind of kid.
He can be aggressive if he's upset.
Yeah. He's emotional. He's a teenager.
He doesn't like punch and hit and throw, but he gets really like aggressive stanced or like clipped where he just won't talk to you or
Very important.
If he's really upset, he like growls or like clipped where
he's a teenager. He
doesn't like
Emotional. He's a teenager. He doesn't like punch and hit and throw. Chris, Katie, specifically Katie, was he being, in your words, disrespectful on February 25th? Or really the 24th, Sunday evening, about 9 o'clock. Did something happen then?
throw, but he gets really like aggressive.
Doesn't like punch and hit and throw, but he gets really aggressive.
Aggressive stance or like clipped where he just won't talk to you or if he's really upset, he like growls.
Yeah,
he growls. Thank you, Black Skies. Look at Chris reliving something in his head right there when he says he growls and stuff. Watch him look up. He's laughing. Because in my opinion, he's actually uncomfortable.
Share, look.
Be vigilant. We don't expect everybody to.
Hold on.
Share, look. If he's upset.
Yeah. He's emotional. He's a teenager. He
doesn't like punch and hit and throw, but he gets really like aggressive stanced or like clipped where he just won't talk to you or You know, if he's really upset, he like growls.
Yeah, he.
All I wanted was to breathe your life. All you ever did was cry and sleep.
You're welcome.
Man.
Share, look, pay
Be
attention.
vigilant. You know, and we don't expect everybody to stop what they do and spend every waking minute. But you would be surprised on how easily people are complacent and not realize certain things. We're all guilty because we're all human. We all live a daily life. But sometimes just being a little bit extra vigilant.
Aware of your surroundings in case.
Hope your daughter liked that,
You
Miranda.
never know. But don't ever stop is all we ask. Please keep looking, keep searching.
I'm sorry, I probably scared the shit out of him, Debbie. Much apologies to your dog. I made your dog leap up. Sorry, everyone. I know, usually when I sing that, the dogs howl.
Anything, reach out. You know, doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely, you know, keep his story in the spotlight, and all it takes is for one person to see something or know something, and that's just that one clue.
The old saying, see something, say something.
And a few others, but we're working with everyone we can.
I hope.
Like some people have been kind and reached out with resources that I didn't know were out there, and I've reached out to all of them. Truckers Against Trafficking, we reached out to them just in case.
Biker world, that's one thing everybody has in common is their love for a child.
Biker world.
And they can't stand to see children missing, hurt. And it doesn't matter who it is.
Missing or hurt.
Doesn't matter what group it is. That's one commonality between every group. And that's why, as a part of being in that world, we go and we utilize our brothers and sisters to help spread that word.
And we went there, and you were not there, Chris. You did not go to any event. There was no event at the time, you said, and there was not even a flyer of Sebastian there. We checked, walked in the door, asked them, and they were confused.
You'd be surprised on how easy it is to spot somebody. The biker. So,
how can people help?
This community, I'm gonna tell you right now, far and wide, multiple communities, counties, various people, some people in other states reach out either through social media, in person, but everybody is searching. They've looked. They're constantly looking. They're constantly giving us ideas. Hey, check this. What about this? All of that is great.
Report anything that could potentially, even if it's little.
It doesn't matter what it is. However, what we can ask is that instead of people assuming and trying to put negative out there, just try to stay with the facts and report all the things that are positive. Any ideas that may help. Trust me, all.
Okay, 1 second. I need to screenshot this. 1 second, please, and thank you. These two, man.
All law enforcement are available and they are looking at everything.
Sebastian Rogers is still.
I love Olivia. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Chronicles of Olivia mods. Please drop beautiful Chronicles of Olivia in the chat. Truth serum. I wished our country used it. Wouldn't that be great, Kimberline? The old saying for the Homeland Security from 9/11, not Ben Franklin, if thou seest something harmful, saith something to the security guards. How about that, Sunset? Who is he trying to impress, talking like he's educated? Yeah. I find it odd she doesn't display more a recent photo. Like Summer, looking for a kid that outwardly isn't represented in pictures. Yeah.
Still missing. If you know something.
But Olivia does. In fact, they probably, in this photo, where was it at? I mean, he's very tiny here, right? This probably should have put the missing flyer there. But see, look, this is, he was very blonde there. I love Olivia. Love her to pieces.
Facts and report all the things that are positive. Any ideas that may help. Trust me, all law enforcement.
There we go. All right, my dears. Love you all. Appreciate you. This has been a long live. Where's there a family photo? Good question, Beth. I wonder if they have a family photo. Oh, Jen, you got a beautiful yellow kitties. So cuties. Thank you all. Appreciate your time. You could have chosen to be anywhere. You chose to be here. You got plenty of choices on YouTube, and I'm thankful for each of you for choosing to be here. I really, really mean that. God bless each and every one of you. I will see you guys tomorrow morning, Lord willing. Please, thank you, Polly. Thank you, Black Skies. Please get some rest. Take care of yourselves. Good night and God bless. I was supposed to be frying chicken and I'm sitting here in front of the TV. Girl, you better fry your chicken. Fry your chicken. Good night, guys. God bless.